Dead by Daylight's anti-slugging and anti-tunneling measures have been revealed. Let's talk about them. For the anti-slugging measures, if a survivor is left on the ground for more than 90 seconds, they will be able to pick themselves up off the ground. Also, they will be able to crawl a little bit faster while slugged, and they can recover while crawling base kit. You no longer need tenacity for this. And all of the perks that are affected are going to be reworked in some way, shape, or form. Dead by Daylight's anti-tunneling measures are a little bit more complicated. From now on, the killer will no longer see when a survivor is unhooked, and instead their HUD will be updated a few seconds later. Also, survivors, when they are unhooked for a little bit of time, they still have their base kit, like speed boost, and they can't get knocked down for the next 10 seconds. But also they will have their grunts of pain suppressed, and they will see the killer's aura if the killer is nearby. Killers can now also see like an icon next to the survivor that they most recently hooked, so they can chase somebody else, I guess. A new feature being added to Dead by Daylight with this patch is if a survivor is sacrificed before there have been 6 total hook states, then the rest of the survivors get a bonus to their generator repair speeds for the rest of the trial. Furthermore, if a killer hooks a survivor, they get unhooked, and then the killer hooks them again and that kills them, then the killer can no longer regress generators for the rest of the trial. So it's just a combat like tunneling somebody immediately off hook to get them out of the game. However, as with all things in Dead by Daylight, there's a little bit of good for the bad for killer mains. If the killer hooks a different survivor than they hooked last, then they get a little bit of a speed boost, the next gen they kick gets a little bit extra aggression, and they get base kit barbecue and chili that shows them the auras of all of the other survivors that have the same or less hook states as the person they just hooked. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time this has happened in Dead by Daylight. These effects are lessened for a few certain killers. Those being the Blight, the Dark Lord, the Ghoul, the Hillbilly, and the Nurse. These changes will hit Dead by Daylight's test servers on Tuesday, September 2nd, I'm pretty sure. And then they will come to the full game in 3 weeks if the testing results in like positive response. But let me know what you guys think. Is this the end of Dead by Daylight? Is this a new beginning? I want to hear your thoughts.